Let us begin.
Let us begin.
Last week, when we were talking about what we should do this week, because that's how far we planned in advance, we were like, let's do something wild.
Let's do something we've never done before.
So, true to that, we've never made this before. It's our friend Nicole's birthday. She's coming over tonight. We're having a little party, and she happens to be gluten-free and dairy-free.
So, in honor of Nicole, we are making a GFDF double layer cake.
This recipe is on Minimalist Baker. It's a great blog, especially if you want vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free options. She offers a lot of them, and everything I've eaten of hers has been fabulous. So hopefully this cake doesn't fail.
All right, so I am lightly greasing up my 9-inch baking rounds, and I've just taken a little bit of coconut oil. I'm just gonna spread it around the inside of the pan. I'm just gonna dust them both with a little bit of potato starch.
Okay.
This is what I have to do. Well, you can't spread it around. How else are you gonna do it?
This is already going so well. Okay, so we need 1 2/3 cups of non-dairy milk. So I'm just using a box of vanilla almond milk, but whatever strikes your fancies, I'm sure great. And then you're gonna add 1.5 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. Give it a little stir, and then we're gonna let it sit for a few minutes.
Curdle. All right, so it's 3 1/4 cup of almond flour.
I'm adding to the wet ingredients 1/3 cup of applesauce. There is stuff everywhere. Like, are you kidding me? A teaspoon of vanilla. That's our last wet ingredient.
Now I'm adding a scant cup of potato starch. If you know what a scant is, DM us. So arrowroot is a really great kind of like binding agent within gluten-free baked goods. So it kind of helps give it the glutinous structure that you're missing because you're not using flour.
1/4 cup of arrowroot starch. Yeah, this is some real witchy shit.
This is sugar. 1 1/3 cups.
Ingredient you all know.
Hopefully by now.
I'm familiar with the sugar.
Next ingredient, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder and 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. Last but not least, 1/2 teaspoon of salt.
Okay. Then you whisk it. Can't find the whisk, so just giving it a little.
A fork will do.
Fork will do.
All right.
Okay. So then we just need to pour the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. Give it a good stir.
And I can see that the almond milk has thickened a little bit from the vinegar. The anticipation is high.
These are going to sit on the middle rack of our preheated oven for
30 minutes.
30 minutes. So now we're gonna make some dairy-free frosting, and we're starting with 2 sticks of softened vegan butter. This is not an ad, but we love this brand. It tastes and smells like real butter. It's incredible. So we're just gonna whip this for about a minute until it's just like a little bit lighter and fluffier. So now we're gonna add in 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. 1 cup at a time, we're gonna sift in the powdered sugar.
And doing it this way just makes the powdered sugar really, really fine, and so you don't end up with any lumps. Because what we want is silky smooth frosting. A little mixy, and then we're gonna do another cup. My turn. Wait till you see these biceps. Just kidding, Dakota always beats me in the bicep game. We have sifted in 3.5 cups of our powdered sugar, and I ran the mixer for just maybe like 30 more seconds to mix it all up, and our frosting is looking light and fluffy.
It looks gorgeous.
And it tastes even better.
Should we show the people?
We are removing our cakes from the pans. Dakota is going to put that on top and quickly invert the pan.
I did it once successfully, but I don't want to get cocky. Ready? Oh! Now I'm trapped. Oh, this one doesn't feel. Oh, yeah.
Look at how cute they are.
Yeah, that was a flawless experience.
Okay, so our cakes have been cooling for quite a while, and we are going to begin frosting.
We are. So, a little trick is if you put a little dollop of frosting at the bottom, it helps it kind of like stay in place.
Dakota is cake frostinger supreme.
Well, I don't know, that might be generous.
Maybe
but-
we should flip this into your hands. Wait, stop. Maybe instead of
Yeah.
pulling it.
No, that's a good idea. Oh. Okay. So this is going to be a relatively flat cake. We thought about making 2 more layers and went through a series of back and forth events. Julie even went to the store twice.
It was stressful.
And then we decided not to. We were taking on too much. So it's just gonna be a flat cake, and that's the way it is. So we actually had this in the fridge to keep it cool, but then we re-whipped it with just a tiny bit of oat milk to loosen it up a little bit. If you find that it's too hard, just like add a little bit more because you want it to be spreadable.
Otherwise, it'll rip off like the top layer of the cake when you're spreading it.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that looks great.
way better. So you want a little blobby, and then you're just gonna really carefully, gently, softly. This is when it would be amazing to have one of those like cake things.
I'll be your spinner.
Oh yeah. Okay, so then same thing. Oh, perfect. Great. So if the cake had mounted at all, like risen, you'd want to shave it off and then invert it so that it's totally flat and square and sexy. So then plop.
Blap.
Gently. So what we're doing right now is we're doing a really thin layer that's gonna be the bad layer.
We're gonna stick it in the fridge so it kind of hardens for us again. And then we are going to frost it with a second layer, and that's gonna be the really beautiful, sexy, flat layer that you see in like pretty photos. And the reason why you do that is like, think of this as like your foundation or your like primer coat. The base layer is done. We're gonna put it in the fridge for just a few minutes.
Yes.
So this is out of the fridge. Now we're doing our last coat just to make it look really pretty.
Yeah.
This is not a wedding cake.
Or is it?
I'm getting married tonight.
To me.
Decorating. Now you could cut it and serve it like this, but we want to put things on top. All right, our first GFDF cake experience homemade.
Also, please just take a second to appreciate Julie's artistry. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's good.
The flavor is really good, actually.
Yeah, the texture is like very soft in a like really moist, dense way that it's hard to say if it's good or not.
But I would say I would rather have this than so many other gluten-free desserts where they just taste like sawdust.
Any day. Like it's
very moist.
It's very moist. I'm kind of into it.
I'm not mad about it.
If you can't have normal cake, and the frosting is great.
Yeah.
Like it's lightly sweet. It definitely has that vanilla like birthday cake flavor.
Mm-hmm. And it has like the tang you get from like a buttercream.
Totally.
I think it's good.
I think it's good. I think you did a good job.
And for someone who's not expecting this,
She has no idea.
she has no idea.
We're gonna have to try and put this back together because we just ate her cake.
She'll then have an idea.